Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to our monthly lunch. We wish to thank you, Chrysler, for sponsoring this event. And especially to Kim, who is going to raffle a Pacifica right now. Anyway, let me give you an update about SAMA. We are moving forward with Everglades Challenge coming in November. We almost have a big sponsor who already signed up for a for an August luncheon. Is the Steel Institute. The Steel Institute is the institution who also sponsors the Texas Rodeo, and I guess they are doing a very active lobbying about steel, especially now that many cars being built with aluminum. So that's what I want to do, just lobby about the steel. So we welcome the sponsorship, and I hope they will be the sponsors because they will be the same sponsor of the Texas Rodeo. Also, we have almost sold out for the year all our monthly lunches. We have only one left, and we have two companies ready to go. So if both say yes, we probably will do two lunches in 1 month. Other than that, that's all for now. I'm going to give the mic to Marcelo, our treasurer, for very important things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Of course, regards from Paul Gordon, who couldn't be here. He's taking care of some family matters, so he sends his regards. In regards to the treasury report, we're up to $14,525. I want to thank everybody that's been paying, and I think for the first year we only have just a couple of stragglers left to pay the dues. So it's been a great year. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. We need the money so we can run SAMA and go shopping. Wanted to tell you guys about good news, new memberships that we have. So we have a new member, which is Kathy Graham. She couldn't be here. She's the new Southeast Regional Communications Manager for Honda, Acura, and Honda Power Equipment. So we have a new member. We also have two new members from Atlanta. I was visiting Atlanta last week for the Family Car Challenge. And the president, Christopher Lawrence of Gamma, was very interested in becoming a member, wanted to come down. He heard about all the wonderful things with Topless in Miami, so he has become a member. He's giving his dues, and he'll be coming down for Topless in Miami. So Christopher Lawrence will be here, and also a good friend from Atlanta, Dennis Byron, will also be coming down for Topless in Miami, which only makes it even better for all of us. Yes. In regards to Topless in Miami, so you guys know we have currently 15 vehicles confirmed. We're waiting for 2 more. Our usual number average is about 17, which works just right for what we're doing. And so we're not killing you guys out there working really hard as you usually do that day. So we're at 15, and I know Tony's been working hard on us, and I think we should be able to pull the 17. Yes. So that should be a good number. Of course, as you know, it is Thursday, June 2nd, so it's exactly 2 weeks from today. So please mark in your calendar. And we love you to join, and it's a big event for us, and we're counting on everybody's participation for that. And of course, want to thank Chrysler, you guys, for the support you guys do. Love the Pacifica, and don't forget, they're waiting for you to drive. That's the whole idea. You really get to enjoy this wonderful vehicle. And thanks to everybody, and I'll pass you to Eduardo. Yes, the summer lunch is confirmed. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll mention it at Topless. This will be before, so on Topless in Miami, we'll make sure that we let everybody know what's happening for the next lunch. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcelo. Also, we will ask you to keep sending the articles for the SAMA web. We welcome everybody who is contributing to that. So I hope that if you come in, we'll publish it as soon as possible. And now I'm gonna give the mic to Kim, who's gonna go ahead with the raffle.
You can help me.
Okay.
All right, so I have eight centerpieces to give away. So you want to
I
draw the
am a
names?
participant, maybe somebody who's not a participant.
We don't. Oh.
No, Charbel.
Tell me.
Yes, we trust.
All right, so did everybody get their card in here?
No. Shovel it.
You should.
We have this
Hurry.
card in here.
Hurry up. It's a
Or write your
Pacifica.
name on somebody else's card.
It's a stick shape Pacifica. It's still 5%.
I have 20. I have 20 there.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, all right. Look, Miss Angela did the honors. Sorry.
Oh!
Ready, Miles? You take the one on your table.
Thank you.
Jonathan Brownsfield.
They look so pretty. They look good in your office. They will.
All right, Monica Gomez. Maria.
Yeah. Take that one there.
Let's see here. Okay. Armand Bartero.
All the walls that I give it in.
Please stay up there, please stay. All right, Arby Swartz. Daniel Alvarez.
Look at that table. Love signing.
Okay, one more.
I think that one, is that one open still? One more.
Yeah, Javi Flores.
Whoa!
I have to give one to your family members. Okay, thank you.
And yes, we have to remind you guys, it's a happy birthday for Mr. Charbel. Now we have to call the police because somebody stole the Pacifica. Thank you very much. See you next month.
Thank you.
And Kidswood, we have some fun touch screens for you to play with in the back seat. And then at the driver change, to actually move the the driver and the front passenger to the second row, so then everybody can get an equal experience. So we'll move this minivan out there to the circular, so you guys will have 3 vans to choose from. That'll be after our lunch. So we're going to have our presentations, our lunch, and then you can do some drives. Today with me here are several team members that will walk you through the vehicle. First of all, it's going to be Patrick Keats. He's been on the minivan team for a while and saw the birth of this and gets to see it to fruition, which is wonderful. And then our designer is Chris Benjamin, who's been with Chrysler for many years as well. And he'll take you through just exactly how wonderful the design is, the exterior and the interior, kind of point out some of those key features that we want to make sure you experience while you're driving the route. And then my PR colleague is Angela Bianche. She's back there. And so if you have any product-specific questions too, she'd be happy to answer them for you. And we do have a part of our media site has Spanish releases, so a lot of this material is available in Espanol, so you can take a look at that if you want that for some of your readers. So without further ado, I welcome Patrick. Thank you.
get this vehicle out there in the marketplace. It started hitting showrooms already last month. Starting to get some great feedback from customers about the experience that they're having with the vehicle, how quiet it is, how the ride and handling so much more improved over the previous generations that we've had as well. And really just touching base on all the features and content on this vehicle that we offer. I think that's one thing that you'll see with this vehicle is we've really packed it full of a lot of features, a lot of content that really speak to, not only, moms out there that have driven the vehicle in the past. It's really changed as far as with the way of parenting as well. This vehicle speaks to not only the kids in the vehicle, the teenagers, whether it's moms, dads. It really has something for everybody in the vehicle. And that's what the great thing is with this product, that it really provides an essential tool for modern day parents. And we know that parenting has changed over the years. That parents' lives are obviously very chaotic, from taking the kids to school to dropping them off at after school activities to doing those landscaping projects on the weekend to taking those short vacations and those long vacations that we all deserve. And this vehicle really speaks to that and provides something for everybody in the vehicle. And one of the things that when you look at with modern day parents, you look at why did we even continue minivan? You look at the marketplace itself as well. The previous generation of minivan had over 78 minivan firsts. This vehicle alone has 37 minivan segment firsts, just on this vehicle alone. And that truly speaks to the name change on the vehicle because we want to redefine as far as what the segment is and what it offers to modern families and our modern day parents out there in the marketplace. What the minivan does for parents in one day, it would take 2 to 3 vehicles to accomplish that in that same chaotic lifestyle and the chaotic day that the parents go through every day with their kids and their families. The other thing you look at as far as the segment itself, it's relatively healthy. It's over a little bit over 500,000 units. It's been relatively stable over the last 5 years, and we're looking at it to continue with the forecast over the next 5 years as well, relatively on those numbers. But the other thing we found with a lot of the research out there is that between now and 2025, families with children under the age of 13 is going to grow by 4 million. That's going to equate to over 2 million units out there in the marketplace for family vehicles overall. And that creates, as far as another opportunity for us, not to only just target minivan buyers, but also just young families that are coming out there in the marketplace that need all these features and content that we packed into this vehicle and really speak to.
So funny enough, so I'm the head of interior design, but I'm going to talk about the whole car today because we all work together pretty closely, the exterior and interior design teams, as we develop a vehicle to make sure there's a nice consistency between the outside and the inside. I'm going to invite you guys to come up in a second when we get around to the rear of the car, but I'm just going to start up front. So the front of the Pacifica is very familiar. It's the face of Chrysler, right? So the upper part of it, the lights are included in this nice band with the grille, so it gives a nice wide feeling to the front end. And then the lower Mobius chrome strip ties in the lower nicely to the outside pods where the fog lamps are. So it creates a nice wide low face. And as you sweep around the vehicle, you'll notice that the whole thing has a nice wind-swept feeling, so it almost feels like it's in motion even though it's sitting here. In addition to that, what we did on the exterior was we really tried to make sure that the wheels were pushed out to the corners of the car, and we really took time to shave off the corners so that it had a nice compact feeling on the corners, so it felt nimble and it felt that you could drive it around in traffic without too many worries, even though it's a larger vehicle. If you come around to the side, you see that the DLO graphic, it's short for daylight opening. We took care to make sure that it had a nice premium feel with the chrome strip that traces around the entire outline of it. And then if you look too at the surfacing of the body, there is a lot of in and out, a lot of light catchers. So you get this nice bone line that runs through the side of the car, right where the handles are. It gives a nice emphasis through the center of the car and really kind of lowers the weight. And then having a nice light catcher at the bottom to sort of emphasize, and stabilize the bottom of the car. Then also similar to the 200, we've got this nice line that comes up and goes just under the belt line across the entire length of the car and then sweeps up into the rear of the glass. So it gives the whole car a nice stretched out, feeling. And also because the surfacing is so refined, it has a lot of nice negatives, a lot of nice volumes. It has a more precious feeling to it, something that that really feels handcrafted. If you guys feel like getting up, you can come and look at the rear of the car. Tail lights are encompassed in this graphic with the glass, and it really creates a nice graphic, sort of top to bottom. And it's a nice, clean, simple rear end where the focus is, the glass area, and then the nice graphic in the tail lamps. And then both front and rear, the tail lamps have a nice, the lamps have a nice LED signature that has become part of the Chrysler family. It's a signature of the Chrysler face, and of course also the rear end of the Chrysler. So it's even though it's a larger vehicle, we wanted to make sure that all of the design cues there were very familiar to the Chrysler brand, but we did it in a way that signified, hey, this is, it's a minivan, but it's something that's new, it's fresh, and we really wanted to push the envelope in terms of creating something that was not a box. Because if you think about it, right, the stigma of a minivan is like, it's this box that you put all your stuff in, right? It's this tool that you use. And we wanted to make sure that, at least from a design point of view, it didn't have that feeling at all. The rear has a nice taper to it. The roof line sweeps off towards the rear. So we did everything to make sure that it was as functional, if not more functional than the car is replacing, but that it also looks stylish and you feel good getting into it every day. If you want to grab a seat again, I'll take you through the interior. See it in the flesh. But really, as I talked about the Pacifica being a tool, right? Because that's what the segment demands. It's something that people want to use, they want to get the most out of. So, wait for that plane to finish flying over. So if you look on the screen, you'll see there are 4 chairs there. And, you can sit in them, they're functional, they kind of do the job, right? But when you're taking something that is a tool and turning it into an object of desire, how do you do that? You create something that is a bit more unique, something that stands out from everything else around it and has a more unique feeling to it. But not only just being unique, but also kind of leading the pack, right? Because if you're unique and you're not better, there's a word for that, it's called weird. So we wanted to make sure we didn't do that. And then we used children's art. No, we didn't. As inspiration. This drawing is actually a drawing that I did as a kid. I actually grew up here in Miami and went to a lot of the magnet schools here, so have a long history of doing art in school, and then I went to Design and Architecture Senior High, which is just up the road. And so really the focus on creating artwork, creating designs, doing vehicle design, it's all the same, and you really rely on the elements and the principles of design no matter what you're creating. So if you look at the interior, there's a big focus on contrast, right? And I don't just mean, the obvious contrast like you see in this image of black and white, but really looking at different things. It's hard versus soft. You have the soft instrument panel that has nice surfacing, very soft, very sophisticated, and then the more technical elements for the control points where you're actuating the volume or the window switches or whatever it may be. So some of the images that we used as inspiration were, these kinds of images, this surface under tension where this dancer is sort of stretching through this fabric. And that contrasting against this more, Teutonic, but still with some emotion, this more Teutonic shape that has a lot of more of a stoic presence to it. But then overall, looking at the interior, we wanted to make sure that all of the lines created a nice width inside the car, and it made the feeling once you get in the car of something that's more comfortable and more spacious. So you see the blue lines that go there that sort of accentuate the width of the interior, and even in the initial sketches, you could see that if you just draw the top part of the instrument panel, it still shows you what the theme of the whole interior is. Some of the early sketches that we did, also using color as a contrast between, light and dark. Of course, this car has the dark mocha interior with the black, and that again, using the colors in different areas, it really allows the interior to be dynamic and, continues to let your eye move around the space. And as you see, you can hardly see it, but there are these lines creating the interior, and when they're done, you can see with just a few lines that it really shows what the theme of the interior is. But we also didn't focus only on the beauty of the interior because, I mean, at the end of the day, it still has to be a very usable product. So there are a lot of key areas where you have storage. There's a nice pull-out drawer in the lower part of the instrument panel that you can house a lot of stuff. You can fit a full-size iPad in there, not the Pro, but a normal-sized iPad. We also have in the console a timbre door on top, cup holders, and then an even smaller pocket right in front of that. So plenty of storage for a variety of uses. It really keeps it flexible and sort of caters to everyone's needs. But then looking at, beyond the functionality is really putting care and attention and beauty into every single one of the details. Every single line, every single radius, the way the chrome interacts with the soft instrument panel, the way the vanes are, how the controls are hidden, so that it has a nice, clean, modern appearance. The steering wheel as well is the Chrysler core steering wheel, so it's in the Limited, for example. It's got a nice chrome ring that goes around it, and it divides the two colors. So it really has a nice premium feel to it. Because that's the one thing that we thought, you see nice interiors in luxury cars, right? And everyone sort of expects that these days. But we figured, why shouldn't normal people have something nice to get into as well? Why don't families have something that feels luxurious, put a lot of attention into all of those things? For example, the control center, we call the ICS. Everything is done in a very crisp, modern way, nice piano black surround, and then all of the buttons, the way you press them, the way they feel when you press them, the way the knobs feel when you turn them, everything has a nice, precise, high-quality feel to it. It feels something more like what you'd find on high-end audio equipment than what you would find in a car. And then also looking at the touch screen. So of course we have our Uconnect system in there. It's an award-winning system that has been constantly gotten accolades from the press. And so we have the same system, the most upgraded version of it. But the way we integrated the screen was different this time. It's a nice flush integration, and it's included in a clean bezel, has a nice clean piano black finish to it. So it's more like the smartphone you have in your hand or the tablet that you have in your, at your desk, because it's what people are used to, right? When someone sees a touch screen, they're used to this nice, flush, high-tech looking surface, and so we wanted to bring that into the car as well. Looking at the cluster, all designers are, I can say all designers, I can speak for all of us. We all have kind of a fascination with watches, right? That's why I have such a big one on. And so when we're designing, for example, the cluster, it's an instrument, right? Just like a watch is. So, we looked at watches and looked at all of the intricate details that you get, in the dials, also around the outside edge. You'll notice the chrome. If you get into the interior and you look at it closely, the chrome actually has a dual finish on it. So there's a more matte blasted finish, and then on the inside it's a more shiny high gloss finish, so that the light dances around on the surfaces. It's a very nice studies, right? That shows that the second row is where the most dirt is, so that's where we put the vacuum. And actually it extends up to, is it 14 feet? 12 feet. 12 feet. And we actually have an extension hose as well that gives you another 12 feet. So once you're done vacuuming this car, you can vacuum out the other car in the garage next to it. So it's actually a very convenient, easy to use solution for normal people, right? You get goldfish or Cheerios or whatever it is the kids are eating these days down on the floor, and you can pick it right up. And we also have a few attachments in there so that you can get to more hard to reach places much, much easier. And then the feeling of when you're in the car is important, right? So we wanted to make sure that we have this tri-pane panoramic sunroof. So in all three rows, you've got glass above you. So it's a nice, open, airy feel when you're in there. You don't feel cluttered, or you don't feel like you're in a cave. And even in the back row, as this image shows you, even from the back row, you have a nice outlook because the belt line is nice and low. So you get a nice view out of the side, and then right above you, you get a nice view of the stars or the clouds today, for example. But in any case, you don't feel like you are a third-class citizen. You feel like in any of the rows that you're in, you feel like you're riding in comfort. And then, of course, if you look at this inside view, we've got the 3 rows. And because we have the stow and go seats in both rows, the second and third row, it's very easy to adapt the interior to whatever uses you want to have. For example, you can fold the seats down and have nothing in there and just have loads of space. You can have, you know, luggage in the third row if you fold that down by itself. You can have camping gear back there. Or if you just want to lounge and have a more presidential feel, you can fold down the second row and just have the third row up and have, you know, loads and loads of leg room. So in any case, there are loads of things that you can do with it. You can also stack tons of plywood in there. So the width of the car is made specifically to be able to fit full size 4x8 sheets in there. So you can get an entire stack of them in there. I'm not sure. I think it's 64.
Yeah. 64.
Like it says there. I should just read my slide, right?
Wow.
So it's quite has quite a lot of utility to it. And then, of course,
Standard 18-inch wheels, optional 20-inch wheels on the vehicle as well. No one else offers that out there in the segment. And we move on to, you know, some of those areas like the you know, convenience features of the vehicle. Hands-free sliding doors and liftgate will be offered on the vehicle as well. It'll be standard on the limited model. In addition, he talked about the integrated vacuum, which is a great feature. And then you look at, I want to touch on some of the points that he made as far as with versatility and functionality. This vehicle has over 243 different seating configurations in it with the 8-passenger seats. 243. Wow. So as he talked about, as far as all the different types of cargo, all the different functionality that you can use the vehicle for, that's why people, you know, purchase minivans. They want this functionality. They want to be able to, you know, put one seat one side down, the back seats up, back seats down, all this different types of functionality. And that's what the next generation Stow and Go really offers with this vehicle, and it really helps make this vehicle stand out. The other feature I wanted to mention as well with the Stow and Go seating is also the easy tilt seating. So now the seats in the second row actually tilt forward. So what that allows us to do is, as far as it allows easy access obviously into the third row, but in addition to that, you don't have to remove a child seat anymore. So it's a great feature for parents getting in and out of the vehicle, get your kids easily back into the third row, and then put your child in the child seat and go on your way. So it's a great convenience feature that we have on the vehicle as well. Another feature that we offer on the Stow and Go seating, it comes standard right from the start, is Stow and Go Assist. So in the past, our seats would fold and tumble. Now that basically, and you also had to push on the driver's seat, you had to push it and hold your finger on the button in the power driver's seat to push it all the way up forward before you could stow the seats. Now there's a button right on the B-pillar, you push it, seats automatically slide up forward, allows you to fold the seat down and go right easily into that Stow and Go bin. Push the button again and it brings it right back to its original position. So another really great convenience features that we know that our current customers, our current loyal customers will appreciate, along with the new buyers that are coming into the segment. The other thing that we looked at with this vehicle as well was obviously packing it full of safety features. This vehicle has over 100 standard or available safety and security features on the vehicle. We have things like adaptive cruise control with stop and go. So if you set your cruise control and the car's pulling in front of you, it'll slow down to that speed. Then from that point, when they pull into the other lane, it allows you to basically go up to that speed again, up to that speed that you have set in the system. In addition, we have forward collision warning. You'll hear a lot about automatic emergency braking out there in the marketplace. We're the first FCA product to really bring that to all of our models. We offer that forward collision warning with stop as well. It provides a big brake signal, pulses your brakes when cars are stopped in front of you and you're going at a high speed. In addition to that, we have things like surround view camera, parallel and perpendicular park. So there's a lot of models out there that might have parallel parking. This has perpendicular parking as well.